With me today, I have an amazing woman. Her name is Anagha Yerande, and I have been humbled by her. And I'm sure that at the end of this, all of you will be just slightly more humbler than when you started now. So, with that, welcome, Anagha.
Thank you very much, Alka. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, welcome to Soul Talks. So, Anagha, tell me a little bit about who you are as a person.
Okay.
Who is Anagha?
So I'm actually a very quiet, private person, but it never happens like that. I love solitude, but that also never happens. That's how I met you. Wanted some solitude, wanted to run away to Machu Picchu, and then I met you, and you never shut up.
And for those who know me, though, that's very true.
But anyway, so I like to do a lot of different things. I don't like to stick to one thing. Variety is the spice of life. I like to try out different things, new experiences, because I feel I meet new people while I do that. Like I met you.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, by profession, I'm an IT project manager. And I should say in my private life, I'm a jack of all trades. And I love meeting new people, and I love collecting people and experiences.
Nice.
That's who I am.
That's very nice. So tell me, how long have you been in the U.S.?
Okay, I've been in the US since 94.
94.
94.
And are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me, how long ago were you married?
I was married in 94, and then I came to the US, and I know you want to ask something more.
So tell me, there is something that happened that changed your life.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Yes.
Talk to us when it happened, how it happened.
Okay. So in 2001, so we had just been married a couple of years. I have, my son was born in 95, soon after we came here. And in 2001, in a accident, like in a household accident, not at somebody's house, I should say, my husband fell from a first floor stairs and broke his spinal cord, actually. Totally severed it. And he was declared like paralyzed, a paraplegic. He's still healthy, but unable to walk. He's in a wheelchair. He's been in a wheelchair for 18 years now.
Wow. So were you here when that happened?
No, I wasn't here. I was actually I was visiting my parents in India, and I got a phone call from one of our family friends here. He was staying at their house, and they just said, "You need to come back." He broke his foot, his leg. And you need to come back because, how can he go to work? How can he drive? So I just thought that something had happened. I took the flight back home with my son, and somebody came to pick me up at the airport, and they said, okay, let's go to the hospital right away. We were at the hospital, and they said the neurosurgeon is going to come and talk to you. And I'm thinking, why will a neurosurgeon talk to me if he broke his leg? I met the neurosurgeon, and he said, well, we did surgery on your husband. He's stable now, but I should let you know that he needs to go. And I kept asking him, when can I take him home? And they said, you won't be able to take him home for some time. It will take at least 4 months for him to go home. And I'm thinking, how can it be 4 months?
Yeah, they told me his leg is...
Yes, and then I found out, I had not even seen my husband at this point. So they said, well, it's not, he didn't break his leg, he broke his spinal cord. And it's severed. We did surgery in 3 days, and I was not there for the surgery also. So they said, we just did surgery, and he's very stable now, but he's not going to be able to walk ever again in his life. That was the diagnosis they gave me. And you're in jet lag. I just come back from India, so I just was not taking it in at that time.
Yeah.
But then it hit.
It had to hit.
Yes, then it hit after some time.
So was he paralyzed from neck down, from waist down?
So if you're paralyzed from your neck down, it's called quadriplegia.
Oh, okay.
This was paraplegia, which is from his waist down.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So when you did come to grips with it, or when you actually saw him, what was your reaction?
Actually, it's very funny. There was no crying. I'm not a crying person. It just suddenly life became very clear, very clear. I could see my entire life in front of me, I should say, and I knew exactly what I had to do, Alka.
Meaning?
Meaning, I just knew like life is never going to be the same again. Number one.
Your son is 6.
And my son is 5-year-old at that time. He was 5-year-old, and I just knew that I had to take care of the whole family at that point. And it just became very clear to me because the doctor had explained, it's never going to walk. We will help you. There will be physical therapy involved. There will be, he will need mental health assistance also. And I just knew I had to concentrate on my son at that point. It was just like one chapter of your life ended abruptly, and the next phase began. So suddenly things were very clear. I just knew what I had to do and concentrate on my son, and that's exactly what I did.
But now your son obviously is 6 and he's going 5. He's going through school. He has to do elementary school. He has to do middle school. But you also have a husband who needs to be taken care of, who didn't take it with so much clarity, right? Because he's upset, why me?
Right.
This has happened. He's the one struggling.
Yes.
How was that? Did you all go for family therapy? Did your son go for therapy?
Actually, my husband had to go for a lot of therapy because of obviously, he was not able to understand what had happened, come to grips with it. We did. I mean, it was a very weird period. Sometimes it feels almost like a dream. And at this point, I feel I should have taken some therapy for my son. It just did not occur to me at that point. And we explained everything to him. We talked to him. I talked to him, I should say. My husband really was not in any state. He, for the first 5 years at that time, he just thought about himself because the doctor had told him if anything returns, any tingling in your body or anything, it will be in the first 5 years. And I think he was desperately trying to feel something. So he completely kind of shut us out, I should say, and he thought about himself a lot. And my son obviously was very, very young, and at this point, when I look back, I keep feeling I should have taken some help for him, which I didn't. But we talk a lot. So today he's talking a lot to me about what he went through.
Okay.
So
he's talking now. But when he's young, he's 5. He doesn't know anything, right? He doesn't remember his dad fine and healthy and running around. I mean, little lineages, right? Not too many.
Not too many.
His formidable, like the years that he remembers all of these things, he's seeing his dad now 5 through 10, where his dad is really not paying any attention to him. How are you coping with that? And you're coping with a husband, right? Who is saying that I'm not well. So you are not necessarily insensitive to you, but saying, listen, I don't know why should I focus on you, right? I need to focus on myself.
Right. So the question you asked is, how did your son take it? So I think he went a little bit inside himself. That's what everybody does. I think whenever there's trauma, shock of any kind, people revert to inside, find that solitude inside, question.
You protect yourself.
And you protect yourself. You curve into a ball. See, whenever you're in pain, you curve, lie in bed, pull the rug over your head, and you curl up in a fetal position.
Yep.
Right? So I think that's what he did. But he's much better. Like I said, now that he has the words now, and he's grown up now. He's just turned 24.
Wow.
So now he is able to put that into words and talk. And we do sit sometimes and talk for like hours about it. So, but it just did not strike me at that time that I should look for a child psychologist or something for him.
Well, I mean, you had a lot on
to
your
deal
plate
with. Yes,
all of a sudden, right? So
yes.
All of a sudden you are. I mean, I just keep saying the same thing that you have a plate full of
things.
And
I was doing my master's also at that time,
great.
actually. Yes. So I continued doing my master's. We had just bought a new house in
Oh my God.
2000.
Okay.
We had bought the house in 2000. This happened in 2001. And a lot of people told me, you need to sell the house, move into a small apartment or something, because how are you going to pay for the mortgage and stuff like that? Luckily for us, my husband was working in Lucent Technologies. And he went back to work. They took him back.
Really?
So, yes, they took him back. He was not, and then he got laid off in another 3 years. But by that time, I had finished my master's. And I said, you know what, I'm going to work. You stay home now. I'm going to work. And our son is young. You take care of him. So the roles were completely switched at that point. Completely.
And how was your husband's demeanor? Was he angry towards you? Was he resistant towards, like, how was he?
I think a bit of everything, and I could understand what he was going through.
Did you always understand what he was going through?
Yes, at that time, yes, because I would literally put myself in his shoes, thinking, what would I do if I was, in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, if I knew, how I had to depend on other people, etc. Now, I think at that point, maybe at some times I did not understand it, but I did know that, how stuck he would be feeling at home in that body, then at home. It was always there.
Yeah.
You find a way to survive. That's what I've seen in everybody.
You find your strength.
Yes.
I think you find your
Yes.
strength amidst the chaos.
Everything. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So how did you evolve as a person?
Oh, I evolved a lot. If you had met me then, I was kind of a little aimless, didn't know what I was doing, was not very ambitious about anything. It's like, you're well educated, but sometimes you don't know what your calling is in life. That's what I meant by clarity. Like suddenly that clarity hit me. So I used to be like a housewife, basically. I had my son right after I came here. Very happy having a baby, wanted to do all the mommy and me kind of things, and my husband was working. I wasn't working at that time, and I just started the masters also on a whim. I didn't know what I was going to do, and then all this happened, and that's when all that clarity happens, and you know what your suddenly it was like, okay, maybe God, not that God caused all this, but maybe this is what I was meant to do in my whole life, like take care of my son, make sure he did something in his life. So that clarity struck me at that time, and I knew exactly what I needed to do in the next 13, 14 years. Once he went to college, another chapter started.
Right.
I involved myself in completely a different set of activities and things.
So until college, you were strictly a devoted mom?
Yes, I was like, you have read the epics, Mahabharata,
Yes.
how Arjuna never saw anything else other than the fish's
fish
eye.
Yeah.
That was me. I never saw anything else other than my son.
Wow.
Sometimes I think I should have put that energy into my husband also, but at that point I took care. I looked at both my son and my husband, and I said, who's more important to me? And I said, this chapter is already gone. I know what's happened here.
Right.
This is just happening now, and
Right.
he has his whole life in front of him.
Yeah.
I need to concentrate on the little one, and that's exactly what I did.
Wow.
Didn't look here, there, didn't do a lot of things. Didn't do a lot of things, just it was him.
Did your husband ever resent the fact that he had more attention than your son did? Than you did?
I think we were both focused on him. Like I said, he stayed home to, make sure his homework was done and all that. I mean, he could have looked for another job, but it was taking a toll on him. Getting dressed for 2 hours in the morning, then me driving him to work, having to sit there. He was not able to sit for a long time. He had a brace around his waist, so in 5 hours he would be exhausted. And then sometimes I would get a call saying number 1 or number 2 happened, and you have to come back and take me home. So I knew I could not keep doing this all the time, and he was getting tired of sitting. He can't sit for a long time. He needs to lie down, be horizontal. So so the roles were switched at that time, and then I think he also understood that we needed to concentrate on my son. But I wish sometimes I had more time to look for a cure or try some different therapy for him. But at that time, I could not have done both together.
Yeah, you had to focus
I
on.
had to choose, and I chose my son that time.
And so your son is in college. What happens to Anagha now?
So I was a little prepared because I saw a lot of my friends go through this. Luckily, I had good friends whose children had gone to college before my son did, and I kind of saw a lot of the mothers take up part-time jobs or do something else, and I started running. I joined the Jersey Shore Running Club, and I had never run in my life. I had not done anything much like that, and I started running. I did a 5K first, and then I was running half marathons.
So you never thought you're going to mope around, you're going to cry about your son who's gone? Never, like, those empty nest syndrome and my poor me, he was my focus.
My baby.
And now he's gone.
You know me quite well, but I'm not the kind to sit around also. So sometimes, it's funny. He went away to college, and I knew I had to let him be independent, not mother him too much. He needed to learn a lot of things. So I had to let him go at that point, and so that I do not over focus on him, I, just dived into all these different activities.
No kidding. Running, we're going to get to your activities.
Yes. So running is one of them, and that took over. Actually, it just running is an activity, or hiking or any other physical activity is such that it frees your mind. It frees your mind of tensions, stress. You forget everything. All you want to do at that point is finish the hike, finish the run, get to the end point. Your body is so tired, and you are so mentally focused on that activity that you forget everything. And I think that was kind of my nirvana. That's what I needed
at that time. Did you ever cry yourself to sleep?
Never. No. Never. No, I don't think I ever cried. Like, why did this happen to me? I feel sorry for myself, or no, never. I don't think so. No.
Wow.
No, thank you. No, never happened.
We cry about not having a good day at work.
Yes.
Or so people cry at all different levels, and that doesn't make somebody weak or strong, but it's, I guess, the level that you had seen. You've seen so much that at some point all of those other things become trivial.
No, I wish sometimes that I could talk about it to somebody, but I'm like, I keep feelings bottled up inside me. I don't want to make myself like a martyr, like show that, oh, poor me. No, never. I would never do that. I would never tell you that, oh, it was so bad at times that, you're thinking, how will you get through the day? All those things did happen. I wanted to take every day, day by day. I never thought about what will I do for the next 15 years? What will my son do in 20 years? Like, what will happen to him? I just wanted to get through one day at a time. And before I knew it, all these years went by. Wow. So I just blocked out the whole years in front of me. But I had goals. I had 3-month goal, 6-month goal, 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 5-year goal. I had those, and I stuck to them.
Wow, so you did, okay, let me have a 3-month goal, let me achieve that.
and
Once I achieve that, then let me see what a 6-month goal would be.
Right.
Well, that's like a success philosophy.
And that's what also helped, kind of blocked out the future. It was more of like, put my head in the sand and not think about anything else. Let's just get through one day. And the one day becomes a week becomes months. Months became a year. And years became decades. So here you are.
And here you are. So, but you didn't stop at running.
No, I did not stop at running. I found another hobby, hiking, and totally loved it. And that's how I met you. I met Kala, Sunita, and I'm not forgetting you this time, Alka. That's a little joke. That's a little joke. Ritika, Vrinda also. So
Yes.
it's like suddenly, so that's what I'm saying. That's what I like doing, different things, because you meet such a different variety of people.
That's right.
And everybody, I feel every person has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Right, and you get to hear all these meet new people, hear new experiences, see what they have been doing with their life, and kind of encourage yourself to go a little bit further.
So when your husband hears that you're running and you're hiking, does he resent you for that?
I don't think he has ever resented. He didn't understand why I was running, but then he used to say, "Oh, you can run a marathon," and so I knew at that point that he didn't. Actually, he was a national level swimmer also.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty sure there is some resentment somewhere.
Yeah.
Always. Actually, even one of his psychiatrists had told me that, actually, this is very personal, so I hope he's not listening. But he had said that, have him do activities by himself where he feels he's in charge. He started painting and he became very good at it.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. So I used to take him to paint class, leave him there, and he learned from sketching, then painting. So he does great landscapes. He's very good at drawing animals.
Nice.
So he bettered himself. So he does that and I do the other things. So we both have our own strengths and we realize that, I guess. So he has his own strengths. I have something else, but we both depend on each other for a lot of other things also. So we are still together.
Yeah, which is commendable. Very commendable.
Yep.
Did anybody ever suggest to you that why are you still with him? You should leave him. What are you getting out of the marriage? Right? What are you getting out of the marriage?
Yes. It's very funny, but it was my parents actually, my father. I never thought my father would ever say anything like that, but he was like, you have your whole life in front of you. What are you going to do? And I'm like, no, I have a child, right? The child has to have his father with him. I can't do that to the child, right? Like I can't divorce my husband and go find a new one now. It happened, it's fine. And I said, I'm perfectly okay living the rest of my life the way I am right now, because what am I going to do with my son? I'm not going to give him away. He's not going to live with his father and me with somebody else. And I'm like, so basically didn't even, like, it was like this much, didn't even merit this much of a thought. And I was very surprised. My father said that and I was like, no, never going to happen. So
That's because you knew your son was your focus.
yes, and he still is. So he still wants his father, right? And he still has to have a family. Yeah. So basically that's the thing. That family structure has to be there always. So wherever you are, and you know how family is so important. It's important to you also.
Yes.
You cannot do without some people. And why do you marry somebody? I feel, for better or for worse. And what if it had happened to me, Alka, right?
Yes. And that is all very nice in theory. And we obviously that would be it. But there are times that that thought could go through your mind. It didn't because your son was your focus.
Right.
But it could. That's saying, what did I do to deserve this?
I might have gone through it, but I don't know. I made peace with myself very quickly. That was that moment of clarity that I spoke about. In the hospital, just sitting, looking at him, and I knew my life had changed forever. I knew it was never going to be the same again. And I just knew this is what I have to do my entire life. I have to take care of him till he dies. And I hope he dies before me. That was always because I'm like not sure what would happen to him if I pass before him. And that was it. So I never thought about anything else.
Yeah. But now going back to Anagha. It didn't end with hiking. It doesn't end with running. What else do you do? I'm like in awe of every time I see your stuff. I'm just like, here's another thing she does. And here's another thing she does.
So another thing, one of my friends, a very good friend of mine, who was a board of director in this organization, Marathi Vishwa. So we had been a member of this community-based organization for a very long time. And he said, why don't you run? There is an open position, why don't you run for it? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I just started my third master's, and I'm like,
oh my
I have
God,
a
3
full-time.
masters now?
This is the third one, yes.
Wow.
So I said, I just started my master's, I have a full-time job, and I don't think I can take anything else on my plate. And he's like, just try it. It's only for 6 months. The position is only for 6 months because somebody left midway. And why don't you just try it? And if you don't like it, it's only for 6 months. And I ran for the position and I got it. And I liked it. I liked doing all the different programs, helping out. And it was also means of giving back to the community. That's what mattered to me. And lo and behold, the 6-month term was up, and they said, well, you need to run again now. And I did. And I won the next three years. So I'm in Marathi Vishwa. And my focus is more on women empowerment. So there was a group which had started, Marathi Vishwa Sakhya. Sakhya means girlfriends. And it took off, but then it kind of fell flat again. Nobody was shepherding it. And
it takes commitment.
And yeah, it takes commitment. And it suddenly, I said, okay, there was another lady with me on the board, and both of us took up the mantle. And we started holding events. It was very hard to get women to come, but now it's a very successful program. Women look forward to it. So I try to have at least 3 to 4 programs a year. Try to bring people who have done something great from a Marathi community and from outside also. Lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, tax specialists, finance experts, business women, so that they can talk about themselves. And there is always that, every woman has a story. Every person has a story, yes. But every woman, I'm always in awe of other people also. And and like I said before, how do you collect people? I love collecting. This is how you collect different friends.
Yes.
And I like to see that in a person, what makes them tick.
Yeah.
Because I know I went through so much, and I feel, yes, my story can inspire somebody else. I don't like talking about it. But
I know, you never told me about it until I overheard.
Yes.
A little bit.
So this is how, then I started thinking, no, maybe all these women need to come in front of the community. We learn something more about them. And they can network, and the women of Marathi Vishwa can learn something more from these women. And so this initiative started. It's taken off pretty well. We had an event last weekend which was extremely well received. And my other work continues. I do a lot at work also.
I know, you do photography.
I love taking pictures. I love looking at the camera through the lenses and seeing something that nobody else has seen before. There's a camera right in front of me.
She doesn't like selfies.
So, but I don't like selfies. Alka knows that. I used to get so mad.
When we were in Machu Picchu, we would take selfies. She's like, come on, you guys, stop it already.
So that was another hobby which, I don't know, suddenly I found myself behind a camera taking iPhone pictures. So I work for JP Morgan, and they have, they keep people send them, on their website, there is a section called Picture This. So we have like more than 200,000 employees of JP Morgan all over the world, and people send them pictures for this category, so that the picture gets put there, and 3 of my pictures got picked up. I was so
nice.
Oh my God, it was like such a big deal to me the first time my first picture got picked up, and people liked it, and I got so many messages that day saying, "Oh, this is incredible! We loved your picture." Then Machu Picchu, I took another Machu Picchu picture that ended up on the website.
Yes.
Then I went to Yosemite. That picture turned up on the website.
So hiking gives you lots of pictures.
Yes, hiking gives you a lot of pictures, recognition, and I like being behind the camera to see, look at things a little bit differently.
So what do you not do?
Okay, I don't cook a lot.
Okay.
I mean, I know how to cook, but I don't like to cook that much. So, and I'm always out of the house. For somebody who says that they crave solitude, I'm always out doing something with people with people, and then I get very little time to myself. So what I don't do is take care of myself. I feel sometimes I should be a little bit more selfish and take care of myself. Exercise more, eat well, all these things that a woman should do. I take it for granted. So
is that a goal that you have now?
Yes, so that's my goal. In 2020, that's my goal. People keep saying, why do you want to lose weight or something? But this time I've taken it very seriously. I want to lose something. And another thing is I will be 50 next year. Wow. The big 50. And I have a goal. I want to climb 5 mountains now.
Oh, wow. So maybe I will not be joining you in that goal. So maybe doing the same year, but I'm not joining you in that. I'm sorry.
I want to climb at least 5 mountains with more than 5,000 feet. So let's see if that happens. And another goal I had was, not donate through, but work with at least 50 different charities.
That's a lofty goal.
That's a very lofty goal. I'll be happy if I do even 25.
That's a lofty goal.
Yes, I want to do something like volunteer for some organization.
Wow.
So I was thinking it's 52 weeks in a year. So I need to do at least one every week. So thinking about how to do
that's
it.
your, again, biting your elephant.
Yes.
One bite at a time.
Yes.
So once a week that you're going to
focus on. Yes, that's my
on?
thing. Yes.
Wow.
So I know it won't happen, but at least if I set 50, I might do 35, 30, which is still good. Wow. Because if I think 25, I might end up doing 10. So if I think 50, I might at least do 25, 35.
So that's the big lesson, is make big goals and you'll achieve most of it.
Yes, you'll achieve most of it. And always push yourself to go a little bit further. I have seen that. Like it always any time you hit that wall and you think you will not be able to climb it, you will surprise yourself. You will climb that wall one day. You will be behind it and there will be another big wall.
I never thought I was going to go to Machu Picchu. Literally, I said I was going to go to Machu Picchu and Ritika said, oh yeah, this is all going to be done, planned.
And it is so,
no problem. And then they told me it's going to be 39 miles of hiking. I was like, what?
You were actually very good on that second day. I remember the second day was the hardest day.
Yeah, but I couldn't believe.
And
but you know
all of us were very good. Anju, me, you.
Yeah.
We were all very good.
But we were shocked.
We were shocked.
Because it's shocked at what you think you cannot
do. And then
when
you
put yourself in that situation,
you are able to do it.
If you have the right friends, what you can do. And with that, we are going to say thank you to a formidable force, to Anagha. Say thank you. And for all of us, for all of you guys who are joining in, thank you for joining in to Soul Talks with Alka. I hope you learned a lot from Anagha. I hope you were inspired a lot. This woman is a force to reckon with. She is an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. So everything that she's spoken about, I hope it has made a difference to you. Anagha, with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you for the next episode of Soul Talks with Alka.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anagha.
Thank you.